Hey guys, this is Sports with Dylan. Moments ago, Ryan O'Reilly, the Blues captain, the superstar that led the Blues to a Stanley Cup win, has now been traded to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now I'm just mad at myself for not releasing that stupid potential trades video, because O'Reilly was on that list, Tarasenko was on that list, who knows who else is going to be on that list that's going to be traded soon. And I've lost my chance. I feel like that list would now be redundant. So I might make a new list and release that video, but with my luck, then that list will become redundant in a day. So we will see. But for now, Ryan O'Reilly has been traded. This was actually a very rare 3-team trade where the Minnesota Wild were also involved. So let's run through the trade here. The Toronto Maple Leafs got Ryan O'Reilly and Noel Arciari. In exchange, the St. Louis Blues got a 2023 first and third round picks from the Toronto Maple Leafs, as well as a 2024 second round pick, Adam Gaudette, who I will forever remember as that guy who gave all the Canucks COVID, and a prospect in Mikhail Abramov. The Wild got a 2025 fourth round pick from the Maple Leafs. The Wild and the Blues are both taking on some of Ryan O'Reilly's cap hit, although it has not been disclosed how much yet. I read somewhere up to 75%. And if that is true, that would be amazing for the Maple Leafs. Obviously, they have a tight cap situation. They have enough cap space, but not enough to take on all of Ryan O'Reilly's contract or another player of his caliber. But now they get an older player who has been to the Stanley Cup. He won the Stanley Cup. He has made it out of the first round of the playoffs. Sorry, Maple Leafs fans. And he is still a good player when he's not injured, which can be a concern. But I think it's worth it when you don't have to pay him that much. You get a team leader. You get someone that can contribute to the team in the locker room and on the ice. That is one of the best things you can get in a player. So I think this is great for the Maple Leafs that they are able to pull this off. Obviously, they lose a couple of picks, but they get a good player. They should make a deep run in the playoffs this year, although they should have many years past, and they haven't. So we will see. But I have faith in this Maple Leafs team. And honestly, I think this was a great deal for the Blues as well, because now they get a first-round pick as well as a couple other picks to build around. They know they're not going anywhere this year. They trade away Tarasenko, they trade away O'Reilly now, because they just haven't had it this year. They don't have the players to compete anymore, especially in a tough division like that. So now they can ship out some of their older veterans, get some young picks for them, and soon enough they will have the next Vladimir Tarasenko, the next Ryan O'Reilly on their roster. They've also got players like Jordan Kyrou and Robert Thomas to build around. So this team could be very exciting in a couple years' time once everyone starts to develop again. So all in all, I think this deal was great for everyone. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys again soon. I'm kidding. This deal, although it may seem great, had a very, very, very dark side to it. And that would be the Minnesota Wild. From their perspective, this deal makes zero sense to me. It makes negative sense to me. It makes absolutely no sense to me. My point being, it doesn't make sense. You see, they are in a relatively tight cap situation themselves. They have some good players. They are aiming for the playoffs. So why would you take on more contracts of players you're not even getting? It doesn't make sense to me whatsoever. Plus, they should be looking to expand on themselves at the trade deadline. which means that they would take on even more of a cap hit. So why are they taking on some other team's cap hit? That should be some team like the Coyotes or the Ducks job, some team that has plenty of cap space and isn't going anywhere this year. But the Wild should make the playoffs. They will make the playoffs if they continue at the rate they're going. And they'll likely aim to get at least one player before the trade deadline. But they might not be able to do that anymore because they're paying a player that doesn't even play for them. But even worse, all they got was a 2025 fourth round pick. Was that seriously the best you could negotiate out of the Toronto Maple Leafs here? And what about the Blues? The Blues are the one that are helping you pay some of the cap space. Maybe they could have donated like a 7th or 6th round pick. But no, of course, all they got was one pick from the Maple Leafs. This makes no sense from their perspective. In fact, I think the Wild totally got ripped off by the other two teams. Because, like I said, the Maple Leafs now don't have to carry the cap hit of a good player, but that might be slightly overpaid. And the Blues don't have to carry the entire cap hit of a player that's no longer playing for them, even though they got more in return because of it. So, sure, they're carrying a bit, but I doubt they're carrying much more than half. Which means that the Wild are sitting here with only a first round pick, while the Blues got a plethora of picks. But the Wild are carrying probably almost half of the cap space. Now obviously this is the NHL, which means the goal is to rip other people off. So I have to applaud the Blues and the Maple Leafs here, because they did a great job. They gave the Wild almost nothing, a fourth round pick. The chances that that fourth round pick will make the NHL and become a superstar are very slim. Maybe, just maybe, he could become the next Kucherov. In which case, this completely turns this deal around. But the chances are he never even leaves the AHL. Which means the Wild just cap a bunch of cap space, limiting their own progress, even though they should be a competitive team, in exchange for a guy that will likely never contribute to that team. So, from the Wild's perspective, this makes no sense to me. But, from the Blues and Maple Leafs perspective, I love this deal. It's great on both ends there. I think both teams did a great job at aiming for what they need to do right now. The Blues in starting a rebuild, and the Maple Leafs in competing and making a deep run in the playoffs. Thanks for watching.